Hello aspirants, welcome to our YouTube channel Time for Bank SSCCGL. Today's topic of discussion is Reading Comprehension for IBPSPO and Clerk Prelim exams. Before we discuss the topic, here is a request. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel Time for Bank SSCCGL, please do subscribe. Do press the bell icon so that you get the notifications of all the videos that are uploaded here on a regular basis. Now, let's start the exercise. As you know, reading comprehension tests your reading and comprehending skills. And your knowledge of vocabulary is also tested in reading comprehension. So what should you do here? You have to read the passage carefully, keeping the idea flow of the author in mind so that you can answer the questions appropriately. So let's read the passage carefully and remember the important points before we start answering the questions. So read the following passage and answer the questions or question and fill in the blanks as directed. So you do have fill in the blanks in the passage. Some inventions like some species seem to make periodic leaps in progress, that is jumps in progress, fast progress. The car is one of them. So the author is going to talk about a leap in the cars. 25 years passed between Carl Benz beginning small-scale production of his original motor wagon and the breakthrough by Henry Ford and his engineers in 1913 that turned the car. What turned the car? The breakthrough that turned the car into the ubiquitous. What is ubiquitous? Found everywhere. Found everywhere. Mass market item that has defined the modern urban landscape. So, the invention of the car and the usage of the car changed the urban landscape completely. Let's see how it changed. Obviously, author should talk about the changes that the car brought into the urban society. By putting production of the Model T on moving assembly lines set into the floor of his factory in Detroit, Ford drastically cut the time needed to build it and hence its cost. So, the cost of the car has come down thanks to Ford. Thus began a revolution in personal mobility. Alright, so Henry Ford played a major role in bringing a revolution in the car industry. So, revolution in personal mobility. People started using the cars. Almost 1 billion cars now dash. We don't know what it is. If you want, you can go and answer the question here itself. Third question. So, cars rolling, no. Cars rolling, there should be an auxiliary verb. Say, are rolling. If it is are, cars are rolling along the world's highways, maybe we consider. So, are is missing. Rolled, you are not talking about past tense. Roll along the world's highways, correct. Roll along. Roll off is wrong. And also world is wrong. Roll along. A worlds, it's not a worlds, it should be the world's apostrophe is missing. So, our answer is roll along the world's highways. Clear? Okay. As and when you get the blank and if you get the clue, you can answer it so that you can save time. Now, go on. Right, that's about revolution in the cars. Today, the car seems poised position for another burst of evolution, right? Another growth, sudden growth of evolution. So, what is that? What are the drastic changes you find in car? One way in which it is changing relates to its emissions. There is going to be a change, drastic change in the emissions. That is, the waste that is produced by the car, right? As emerging, discarded material. As emerging markets grow richer, legions of new consumers, big groups of new consumers are dash for their first set of wheels. All right. As emerging markets grow richer, right? More money in the market, legions, large groups of new consumers are dash for their first set of wheels, right? What's the word here? Positive. Are waiting eagerly for their first set of wheels. That's our word. Let's see whether we find this word in the choices or not. Fourth one. All right. Are trumpeting. What is trumpet? Announce loudly. Trumpet is announce something loudly. Announce something loudly. All right. That doesn't make sense. They're not announcing anything. Screaming is what? Cry in pain or anger. Screaming, cry in pain or anger. No. Right? Doesn't make sense. There is no pain, there is no anger. Clamoring is what? Demand. Demand something. Demand for something enthusiastically. Demand something enthusiastically. All right. You understand? So, clamoring, they are demanding, they are waiting for something enthusiastically, right? That makes sense. So, clamoring is the answer. So, clamoring also means make loud noise, right? They are making loud noise about getting the first set of cards. Do you understand? All right. Murmuring. Murmuring is what? Speak in a low voice. No, this is about enthusiasm. So, you don't murmur when you are enthusiastic. You say that loudly. Doesn't make sense. Agreeing? No. So, answer is clamoring. All right? Simple and straight. Right. Next one. Let's continue. For their first set of wheels, good. For the whole world to catch up with American levels of car ownership, catch up is match. Match with the American levels of car ownership. The global fleet would have to quadruple. Global fleet is here, fleet of cars, fleet of ships. All right. So, fleet of cars, the number of cars would have to quadruple, right? 4 times. All right. So, it has to increase by 4 times. Even a fraction of that growth would present fearsome challenges, right? Even if you have a part of that growth, a small piece of that growth, there are going to be fearsome challenges. This is the negative thing. There are going to be frightening challenges, frightening problems, negative. Okay. From congestion, what is congestion? Traffic jam, crowded areas and traffic jam, and the price of fuel, negative things. Right, there will be an increase in the price of fuel and pollution and global warming. So, these are the problems that come along with the growth of cars or say increase in the number of cars. All right, so remember that. Yet, in spite of all those challenges, as our special report this week argues, stricter regulations and smarter technology are making cars cleaner, more fuel efficient and safer than ever before. Right. So, all those challenges can be met with. All those challenges can be solved. All right, can be faced without any problem. How? Because of the technology. So, technology is making all these problems out, taking the problems out. Technology is helping us to clear the challenges. China, its cities choked in smog, right, because of the exhaustion, is following Europe in imposing curbs, restrictions on emissions of noxious noxious, harmful, nitrogen oxides and fine soot particles. All this is the exhaust fumes from the cars. All right. Okay. Regulators in most big car markets are demanding deep cuts in the carbon dioxide emitted from the car exhaust. All right. That's it. And car makers are being remarkably inventive in finding ways to comply. Right. So, car makers are also enthusiastic about, reducing or bringing down these problems. Is that clear? Mainly emissions from car exhaust, all right, pollution and soot particles and so on from the cars. Done. Granted, battery powered cars have disappointed. Right, battery powered cars disappointed us. All right, though we approved them, they disappointed us. They remain expensive, lack range, right, limited range, and are sometimes dirtier than they look. For example, if they run on electricity from coal-fired power stations, all right, so they look dirty because of these power stations. But car companies are investing heavily in other clean technologies. Future motorists will have widening choice of super efficient petrol and diesel cars, hybrids, which switch between batteries and an internal combustion engine, and models that run on natural gas or hydrogen. So, car manufacturers are looking for better alternatives to reduce the emissions. As for the purely electric car, its time will doubtless come. So, Aadhar is optimistic about the electric cars. All right, they are going to come and they are going to be successful. Meanwhile, a variety of driver assistance technologies are appearing on new cars. Right, what is the new thing here? Driver assistant technologies, which will not only take a lot of the stress out of driving in traffic, but also prevent many accidents. This is positive. More and more new cars can reverse park, read traffic signs, maintain a safe distance in steady traffic, and brake automatically to avoid crashes. So, all this is wonderful. We appreciate that. Some car makers are promising technology that detects pedestrians, those who walk on foot, and cyclists, again overruling the driver, rejecting the driver, all right, making him useless, and stopping the vehicle before it hits them. So, they are performing better than the driver. A number of firms, including Google, are busy trying to take driver assistance. So, they are taking driver assistance to its logical conclusion by creating cars that drive themselves to a chosen destination without a human at the controls. So, driverless cars are going to be used. This is where it gets exciting. All right, driverless cars are exciting. Okay, and Google is busy trying to take that assistance. Sergey Brin, a co-founder of Google, predicts that driverless cars will be ready for sale to customers within 5 years. All right, that may be optimistic, but the prototype, the first of its kind, the first model that Google already uses to ferry its staff, to carry or to move its staff. Ferry is actually move from one place to another place, short distance travel, let me say. Ferry is short distance travel. So, ferry move its staff, and a recent visitor from The Economist. So, Google has already used this. Along California freeways are impressive. So, the test drive is impressive. Is that clear? Or say, these used by the Google, the prototypes used by Google are impressive. They are efficient. Google is seeking to offer the world a driverless car built from scratch, but it is more likely to evolve and be accepted by drivers in stages. So Google is not trying to do it, in a haste. It wants to build it from the scratch and evolve and accept it in stages. Do you understand? So Google is slow in making and steady, and obviously slow and steady wins the race. So we can expect positive from Google. If and when cars go completely driverless, the benefits will be enormous. That whenever the driverless cars come into existence, there are many benefits. Huge. What are the benefits? Huge numbers of elderly, positive. When the author says benefits, we know that he is going to talk about the benefits, all right. So, huge numbers of elderly and disabled people could regain their personal mobility, right. The young will not have to pay crippling motor insurance because their reckless hands and feet will no longer touch the wheel or the accelerator. So, the young, the old and the disabled persons are benefited by these driverless cars. Driverless cars should also ease congestion, right, ease traffic and save fuel, right. These are the two benefits. Computers brake faster than humans. So, that's how you can avert the accidents. If the idea that the driverless car is round the corner, all right, is going to come at any point of time, right, it is going to come into the market very soon. Sounds far-fetched, not trustworthy, all right. So, people may not believe in getting the driverless cars very soon. Remember that TV and heavier than air flying machines once did. You may think that it is not possible to get the driverless cars very soon. Other is comparing these driverless cars with TV and heavier than air flying machines. What are these heavier than air flying machines? Aeroplanes. So, same story with these also, right. Any invention was first an illusion, all right, and then these are proven. In the same manner, the author is optimistic about these driverless cars are also going to enter the market. One day, people may wonder why earlier generations ever entrusted gave the responsibility to machines as dangerous as cars to operators as fallible as humans, right. So, why is a human being operating the car? So, in future, there are going to be only driverless cars. No human being is going to drive the cars. Fallible is what? Failing. Do you understand? That's it. So, the entire passage is about driverless cars, negative and positive, and there is also a mention of battery cars and electrical cars. All right. Now, let's look at the questions. For the rest of the world to match ownership of the four-wheeler with Americans, rest of the world to match with the four-wheelers, the global production of cars should what? Double? No. If you remember, the word is quadrupled. All right, 4 times. It should grow 4 times. Doubled is wrong. Refined is polished wrong. Good technology wrong. Tenfold is wrong. So, answer is none of these. The word is quadrupled. You can cross-check. The phrase burst of evolution in the context refers to burst of evolution, right? That is sudden growth in the evolution or sudden growth in something. Safer drive, less pollution, comfortable drive, easier to handle. All are the benefits of driverless car. All right. So, let's see where is this particular phrase used, and that's how you can pick the most appropriate answer. Right. Where is this? Let's look at it. Here it is. Today the car seems poised for another burst of evolution. Don't stop there. Read the next line. You have the answer there. One way in which it is changing relates to its emissions. So, first change is what? Emissions. As emerging markets grow richer, legions of new consumers are waiting for this, right? Catch up with American levels, right? Quadruple, even a fraction would present challenges, congestion, and so on and so on. So, what is he talking about? Relates to emissions. Do you understand? So, what is that? Free from pollution. That should be the first priority. Later on he talks about, right, here also see emissions, deep cuts in emissions and so on. Next you talk about benefits, like how to drive, safer travel, all right, and then comfortable travel to the old, the young and so on. But the first thing is pollution. So let's see where it is. Where is that? Less pollution. You understand? So this should be our answer because emissions is mentioned there. So safer drive comes next, comfortable drive next, easier to handle next. Do you understand? Right. Next point. We have already answered this one. Fourth one, we have already answered. The author believes that a driverless car is quite plausible in the future because it's quite conceivable. Right? You can think of the driverless car because he mentioned what? It may seem far-fetched, but TVs happened, aeroplanes happened, in the same manner, cars are also going to happen. That's what author said. If you want, you can cross-check. Where is that? Here it is. All right. Far-fetched, remember, TV and heavier than machines once did too. Do you understand? Let's see. They came to the market too. So, unimaginable concepts have come true. No, it's not about unimaginable. Right. Technology. One second. Unimaginable concepts have come true. Yes. What are these unimaginable concepts? TV and aeroplanes. Those are unimaginable. Is that not? Is it possible? People did not believe in them. All right. But they happened. So, may happen. Consider. Put a dot. Technology is not deceptive. We are not talking about technology here. We are talking about the presence or the arrival of the driverless cars. Just like the arrival of the TVs and aeroplanes once upon a time. Changes happen for the better. Yeah, changes always happen for the better, but that is irrelevant, not related to the question. These are all in general correct, but not related to the passage. Mankind is ambitious. Yeah, very good. Ambitious. That's why, right, we are inventive. We innovate. Car manufacturers will make huge profits. Nothing is said about huge profits. So, our answer is this one. Unimaginable concepts have come true. Straight answer. Next one. What's the benefit of driver assistance technologies as mentioned in the passage? Right. Driver assistant technologies, right. Parking, avoiding accidents, right. Avoiding pedestrians, cyclists and so on. So, let us see. People will have a stress-free time at work, not mentioned at all. It's not an inference. It's a direct question. What is the benefit? That's it. Straight answer. All right. No inferences. People now buy more cars than any other vehicle. Right. It's not about buying choice between two types of vehicles. People will now be safer and can avoid accidents. Yes. They're safer. They can avoid accidents. I mean, in short. Right. We were taking, avoid pedestrians, cyclists and so on. And that matches with this one. Children can now drive too. Nowhere is it mentioned. People can operate every vehicle and their daily chores using computers. Right. Nothing is said about this one. All right. Can operate every vehicle. We don't know what it is. So, answer is, we are talking about only cars, not other vehicles. Remember. So, no deviation. Answer is 3. Simple and straight. Let's look at the 7th question. With what does the author compare driverless cars? If you remember, he compared the driverless cars with TVs and aeroplanes, heavier than air machines, aeroplanes, right? Now, let's see. Remoteless TVs? No. Not remoteless. TVs is there, but not remoteless. We can check. Aeroplanes? Yes. Mobile phones? No. Cycles? No. Miscellaneous machines? No. Do you understand? Right. Very clear. TVs is mentioned, but not remoteless TVs. If you want, you can cross-check. Where is that given? Here it is. TV and heavier than air flying machines. So, only TV. and heavier than air flying machines. So not remoteless TV. So there can never be two answers, remember that. Alright? Yeah, that's all. I hope you have followed the strategy and get to know how to answer the questions based on the passage given in reading comprehension exercise. And keep practicing by following the strategy. And do subscribe to our channel, Time for Bank SSCCGL. And you have videos on Bank, SSCCGL, Insurance, Railway and other related exams. And apart from our YouTube channel, we do have other social media channels like Telegram, Instagram, Facebook. And the links to all these channels are given in the description box. And for classroom coaching, do contact your nearest time center. And for online courses, you can enroll at this URL. And thank you very much for watching. Keep watching the videos for more information.